people? It's Wake Up in the Den. I'm Ku'ule Agbayani alongside Paul Brecht, and Michael Escaro is en route as well. And this is the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM, AM 760, hawaiisportsradio.com, and streaming live on our YouTube channel. So hello and welcome to everyone tuning in wherever you're tuning in for. But if you are on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe, and we always appreciate all of you that tune in on any platform or on demand or whatnot. Feel free to chime in on the live YouTube chat, or you can text us at 808-888-KG1. That's 808-888-5481 if you want to get in on the conversation. So we've got a fun show for you as always. Hello Hawaii Football Fall Camp Week. We were talking about that. As you know, we were out at Mountain West Media Days and heard a lot, had a really packed show on Friday. If you missed Friday's show, be sure you guys check it out and listen on demand. And we also got some of the videos up on our YouTube channel as well. But Wednesday, we will have the full squad out there. And I'm really excited because football fall camp, they have practices are now at 11. So this, my football fandom heart is very excited because I actually get to go. Paul and I actually get to go to practice for once because, as you guys know, normally practice is in the mornings and only Michael was the lucky one that would get to go because Paul and I are in here. By the time if we got to UH when we did after the show is PAL, we would miss it entirely. But because practice is now at 11, Wednesday, we will have our full squad. Let's squad up, everybody. We will be out at TC Ching for the first official day of UH football fall camp. So I'm really excited for that. We'll talk a little bit more football in this segment, but coming up, we will definitely get into some combat sports talk as Max Holloway coming up big and winning over the weekend. And Manny Pacquiao actually looking pretty good at the nice young age of 46. And like I told you guys, he's Filipino, so he's really like 40. And I swear in that fight, he looked like he was 35. If anybody of you guys watched that, he did not win the fight, but he did not lose either. Majority draw for Manny Pacquiao against Mario Barrios. But again, we'll talk about that a little later. Also hear what Max Holloway had to say in the post-fight. We'll get into some WNBA conversation, and All-Star Weekend happened, and we know, as it always been, dominating the headlines about the pay for the WNBA players and the new CBA. So we'll kind of explain everything that's going on with that, get our thoughts on how we feel about the pay in the increase in pay situation for the WNBA. Also coming up on the show, I want to get into some, hey, there's Michael. Hello, Michael. Walking in. He looks wide awake, as always.
Hey, he looks phenomenal. I'm very excited to have him join us, especially for some, I know we joke, but I am excited to have him here as we kind of kick off the football season. I know you said Wednesday is realistically the kickoff to it, but why wait? We have been so excited about it all summer. This is the guy that has been following it, ad nauseum, it feels like at this point, the way that I have with basketball. He is with football. So, very excited for the day ahead. Glad to have you back in studio, as fun as, going remotely was on Friday after a couple of I don't know, trying to make sure things work early on.
Yeah,
things did end up working, but it was very funny in the moment to be like, wait.
Yeah, it was totally like at the buzzer on Friday, and like even just for myself, because as we mentioned, like I hadn't done a remote show in the hotel room in a very long time, so even just getting my bearings, you guys can probably tell when you're listening to the show or listening on demand that like I just. As if I already don't stumble over my words majority of the time, Friday just felt even more so. Luckily, we had a lot of stuff to play for you guys in terms of hearing from head coach Timmy Chang. We had athletics director Matt Elliott, a little bit of Max Holloway. So fortunately, they didn't have to listen to me talk too much because it was just getting my bearings. And now I'm back here still trying to get my bearings again now that we're heading into fall camp week. But I also, probably in hour number 2, I want to get into just the positivity and what Patty Mills, the new general manager of the UH men's basketball team, brings. I was fortunate enough to meet Patty last night and kind of hear his vision
Quick
that
flex.
he has for the University of Hawaii basketball program. And you guys, it's very exciting. Hopefully we can get him on the show, but if not, there is just a lot, at least not this time around, because he is in town until Wednesday, and I'll tell you a little bit about what his entire itinerary has been for the men's basketball players, which it's very significant. And you know what, I don't think some of the other quote unquote celebrity GMs are doing for their programs what Patty Mills is about to do for this UH program. And I'm talking about Shaq and Steph Curry and Woj. Well, maybe Woj. I don't know. I wouldn't put
Woj is actually kind of a
I was like,
killer
Woj
GM.
maybe. Yeah, Woj is. Oh, okay. But I would say Patty Mills would probably compete with Woj, and I'll tell you guys about that a little later coming up on this show because, it's incredible. Anyways, guys, fall camp week. Hello, Michael. Welcome to the show. How are we feeling this morning? And look, Michael even got a little scruff going on over there.
Yeah.
Does he?
Called, I don't know what it's called. I mean, it's I thought about shaving it the past 2 days, but I just kind of I literally had shaving cream in my hand, and I was like,
And
you know
you
what?
didn't use it?
I'm gonna just wash it off my hand.
That sounds so Michael, by the
But
way.
That's
so
really funny.
you mentioned training camp starting at 11. You know, I think the Rainbow Warriors football team, they were just a little bit worried. They's like, man, Michael hasn't gone on a trip yet. You know, we might not have. He might use his PTO, and we might not have any HSRN representation. But so there's going to be two things on Wednesday that I'm interested to see. I'm interested to see how the football team looks, and I'm also interested to see how much sunscreen Paul and Kool-Aid puts on because it's going to be in the hot sun. So that
Paul
is.
doesn't put on
I was
sunscreen.
gonna say I don't wear sunscreen.
Well, I think Kool-Aid will. I know. Brian McGinnis is a very heavy, and even Christian Shimabuku. So you might see them with sunscreen. So that
Everybody's a lot smarter than I am.
Yeah.
It's all the thing.
I will for sure have sunscreen. I always have a lot of sunscreen on, clearly. That's why I don't really get very tan. I always
Our
have on
bright
sunscreen.
skin.
And I do have my bucket hat that I wear. Shout out Jared Ursua, who gave me that a few years ago. So that's what I traditionally wear, is the bucket hat that kind of covers enough and hopefully covers enough of the neck to not burn as quickly. But yes, it's going to be a hot one. And that is the big reason why they are moving practices a little later. And I know we posted about this on our social media, but for everyone that didn't see it yet, is because they want to try to get acclimated to the heat. So as much as we're talking about, we'll be hot out there and for us to wear sunscreen, the main show that matters about getting used to that heat is the UH football players and the coaches. So that's a big reason why, because that Stanford game is in the middle of the day, and then they go to Arizona. Arizona's hot too. So that's kind of the reason why and again, we're not complaining that it gets to move up or move back, I guess, in time. Because, Paul and I get to make it. And
I get to actually watch.
yeah, and if Michael does need to take a little PTO before the season starts, it works out because now we got that coverage.
That's fair. I'm excited to actually be in person and see these guys connect for a little bit. That was something that I very much so enjoyed during my first couple of years with HSRN, and obviously when practice is during the show, it makes it a lot more difficult to go out and see. But that's also where we see things like I've asked Michael in the past of okay, yeah, we know who the usual suspects are. We know who we expect to kind of show up and be the guy, quote unquote, or produce very early on, get reps very early on. But I like to see who worked on their game over the summer, who's coming back from the deep depth, who's coming back from last year's team who didn't get the snaps that they thought they deserved, and they're coming back and showing a couple of new things out of their tool bag, and who's going to force the coaches to put them on the field. That's something you start to learn when you're at these training camp practices. So as much as I do love Michael's eyes, I do think that he does a phenomenal job giving us observations. I can't give you as good analysis on my own front without seeing that in person. So I'm excited to go and see that for a little bit as well, even if I might be sweating my tail off for the majority of the day.
I mean, it's going to be fun. I also think Kool-Aid is going to show that she is a movie star because at practices, everyone will be, wanting to Kool-Aid's here, yay, Kool-Aid's here. Yeah, but it's going to be.
Kool-Aid's pretty famous.
It's gonna be, but I noticed some days on the schedule, it's 2 hours long. Some days it's only an hour and a half. I do think on Saturday, the There is some game. I think they're gonna have one where it's like a 1:30 practice, like 4, trying to simulate that game day. And I like it, right? I think Rich Mana commented on our social media that this is smart, right? You look at the UCLA game last year, right, where we led 10-0 at the half, we lost 16-10, right? So I do think, even though we got off to a hot start, no pun intended, like we kind of cooled off, right? Because it is something you have to, like, okay, UCLA got used to the sun. We had some injuries with Braden in that game, and we couldn't get anything on offense, and that was good to see. And then also I do think the Arizona game is more also because I mean for Hawaii, like obviously we're in Hawaii, we're gonna have that home field advantage with the sun. Like who doesn't love playing in sunny weather? But the Arizona game on the road, I think is gonna be key too because our first road game last year was against Sam Houston State, and I remember we were watching this game before our broadcast where it's like, what is this team? Like, this team doesn't look like the team that showed up against UCLA. And a lot of the coaches are saying it was the humidity. And, Arizona, Tucson, that's literally a desert. Like, you look up the Tucson Desert, right? So I like this for the program. I mean, of course, they are going to transition to earlier times as we get closer
Yes.
to the season.
Good call out by you.
So, yeah, because, I mean, I feel like if people were like, I had to, like, let me just make sure that no dummies in the comments are like, why are they practicing in the hot sun? But like, and of course, school's gonna start up soon, so you're gonna have to have practice back at 7 a.m. and that's when your boy will be fighting the traffic. But right now, there's no traffic to fight. We can all go to the show. It will be good thing that we have YouTube shows because the beautiful viewers on YouTube can see the tan that we're getting. Like you guys, we can maybe do like that frame by frame comparison as we go, but. It's good. It's good for it. It's good. So
I'm like, I don't know if they can notice if I get any more tan because that doesn't really happen for me. Maybe I'll get a little more lobstery because even though I put on sunscreen, depending on how hot it is or if there's any clouds, I will still turn into a lobster and maybe they can see healing and everything. Anyways,
Paul, YouTube show
I
Thursday.
digress.
Schedule it.
YouTube show Thursday.
See how red Kool-Aid is the next day. I'll be hiding in the shade with Paul because I know that's what he tends to do as well. He'll be like in the shade for most of the time and then sneak
spot.
back out. So that's kind of what.
We'll do over under. We'll have like magenta, pink, crimson.
Oh my gosh.
What shade of?
Anyways,
it's the cooking of a
just kidding.
steak. It's the cooking of a steak. Just going.
I don't know how interested people are in seeing all that stuff.
Cool, you got
happen.
like 5,000 views on this.
Oh,
this
gosh.
guest
Yeah.
podcast.
Oh, my
Cool,
gosh.
you're a rock star.
Anyways, moving on. We need to take a break on that note. When we come back, we will get into the combat sports talk and get to Max Holloway's big win in playing spoiler to Dustin Poirier's retirement on Saturday. But there was a lot to take out of that all and what the future holds for Max. And also Manny Pacquiao didn't lose over the weekend, but majority draw, though some people had it where he should have won. But you know what? That's boxing, and that's what happens when you leave it to the judges' scorecards. But we're going to take a break. We'll be right back to talk UFC and boxing on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network.
Back to more Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ulei Agbayani on the Hawai'i Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Welcome back to Wake Up in the Den. Ku'ulei Agbayani, Paul Brecht, and Michael Liscaro on the Hawai'i Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM, AM 760, hawaiisportsradio.com, and streaming live on our YouTube channel. Hello and welcome to everybody. Get in on the conversation on our YouTube chat. A shout out to Caesar and Justin Baptiste for chiming in already. Aloha to you guys. And you can text us at any time at 808-888-KGU1. That's 808-888-5481 if you want to get in on any of the conversation. All right, we are talking UFC and boxing now, as not entirely. We'll start off with boxing first because there isn't a ton to unpack, as Manny Pacquiao made his return to the ring coming out of retirement and fighting Mario Barrios at the young age of 46 years old. But, I mean, if you guys watched any of that fight or the highlights, Manny... Yep, you're proving about the Filipinos and their ability to still stay young. He looked fast. I mean, there were some instances, those middle rounds, it looked like Manny was trending in the direction to win the fight. I believe through 9, it seemed like Manny was winning, and then Barrios kind of like got a couple of rounds back at the end. But nonetheless, it was amazing to see him return to the ring. We'll see what the future holds for Manny Pacquiao, but majority draw in that one, and because it was a majority draw, that Barrios does retain, the title. But nonetheless, I don't know, were there any fireworks going off in Waipahu, Michael? I don't know if it counts. If he didn't lose, it was a draw, but was there some fireworks?
I don't think it took I see some clips of like Filipino parties, their get together, their barbecues. It took them like a good 2 seconds to figure out what that meant, what a majority draw was. They don't know if that was a win or loss, but I mean, Manny should have won. I think that some people were saying he should have won. One thing I will say though is that you said he did this at the young age of 46, and I think that's very important in terms of recognizing Manny Pacquiao's greatness and longevity. Obviously this is a whole big ploy to maybe get Floyd Mayweather versus Pacquiao like 2.0, even though it's like about 13 to 12 years since the first one. But I mean, Manny wasn't 100% for that. But I mentioned 46 because
has it really been that long since Mayweather Pacquiao?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Paul was still in the middle school.
Mm-hmm.
But at age 46, guess what, Paul? I'm gonna throw it back to you. I'm gonna throw it to you, Paul. That's 1 year older than when Tom Brady last played in the NFL. So if we're talking. If we're talking about like one-upping people, right?
Yep.
You know what? You win now. You good job.
Pacquiao's showing that. I mean, even though it's been like 5 years since his last fight, he showed, hey, you can still kind of get it done, and that kind of boosts his in how we remember Manny Pacquiao, because again, you're only as good as your most recent fight, right? And Mayweather may have the rings, not the wings, the wins and the championships and the money. But Pacquiao will always be known as the people's champ because he's fighting whoever he's going to fight. And, yeah, Paul.
Yeah, and I want to remind everyone, too, that Barrios, because I don't think we mentioned that, so we talked about Pacquiao being 46, and it's not like Barrios was another quote-unquote older guy. He's in his physical prime. He's guy was
30?
16 years younger than Manny Pacquiao and the champ, so... It really looked like it was a really good fight. I was happy that I was able to watch it, at least maybe the back half of that fight, and it ended right before Max was about to, or that the festivities and the walkouts for the Max Holloway Dustin Poirier fight was about to start. By the way, you guys, all right, so I landed, Saturday afternoon around, what time did we get here? Around 4 o'clock we landed. The Uber prices were insane from the airport. It was like double than what it usually is. There were barely any taxis. And I had to think to myself, we were waiting in the taxi line because we're going to catch a cab because Uber was like $80 from the airport. It was insane.
Just text me next time.
Yeah. And then, so we thought about it. I was like, oh, it's because it's the Super Bowl today. And like, there's no Uber drivers because they're all watching Max Holloway and or Manny Pacquiao. So it's like, double Super Bowl, and I was trying to explain that to these people that were visiting from the continent on why like it feels like there's no taxis. I was like, I don't know, this isn't scientifically proven, but I'm going to imagine that there is a lack of Uber drivers and potentially some additional taxi drivers. Well, because the taxi cabs are making up for all of the Uber drivers that aren't driving because it's Hawaii Super Bowl when Max Holloway is fighting. The people are tuning in, or like Michael said, like the People's Champion Manny Pacquiao on the boxing side. Yeah, that would explain why there weren't anybody outside. So it was just kind of interesting to see that. And again, not scientifically proven. I did not take an actual official poll.
Yeah, you got to.
But
get
it really felt like, oh, that's probably why. Is because I'm sure it's hard to find Ubers on Super Bowl Sunday. Maybe, well, I don't know. They have the surge in pricing on Super Bowl, so maybe more people want to drive. But anywho, I want to get into that Max Holloway fight again. Max winning via unanimous decision. I do get to cash at least one ticket when I go back to Las Vegas. I did put money on Max to win the fight. I did put a little bit of a sprinkle on the plus money for it to end under 4.5 rounds. Obviously, that didn't happen, but whatever.
Worth a sprinkle.
Yeah, I was like, plus money. And it felt like it would have ended in round 2. That round 2 was insane for anybody that was able to watch it, because it looked like Max was going to finish that fight. And then towards the ending, Dustin came back and almost got Max in a guillotine. Fireworks. It was very, very entertaining. They did not get fight of the night, which Max on social media was very adamant about. He was like, they got to talk to Dana. Why didn't we not get fight of the night? Anywho, before we talk about that fight a little bit more, I want to actually let you guys hear from what Max Holloway had to say following that fight.
Max, no 0 for 6. How happy are you right now?
I'm pretty happy, man. Like I said, though, it sucks, I came in here to be spoiled. That's what I'm going to do. But it sucks to do it against a man like that, Like, I had to do it for against Korean Zombie. Now I do it against Dustin. These guys are just great people, Forget what they did in the fight game. They're just great human beings, man. They're just great people. And I got nothing but love and respect for him, what he did. He is a BMF in every sense of the word, man. He was up 2-0. Done gave me the opportunity to get him back in the last fight. That's what BMFs do. And this guy got to walk out with Weezy, bro. He got Weezy to put the belt on us, so that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, definitely. How different did he feel in there compared to 2019? Maybe not obviously the first fight, but the second one.
He stood crack. He stood hit hard. You saw what happened in that third round. In the first round, too, I was like, oh, yeah, I got him. And then I was like, what the? This guy kept coming back. I kept forgetting that this is a retirement fight. His name is The Diamond. So,
how hurt were you in that second round? And I guess how happy are you that you could show, all the questions about your chin, you can make it through a hard shot and come back, win the fight?
I was pretty hurt, bro. I can't say nothing. At the end of the day, I was calm. I was cool. I was just chilling. So I was happy that we got it done over there.
Yeah. If he didn't go for that guillotine and kept punching, would he maybe have you in real trouble there?
I don't know. I don't know. I couldn't tell you, But when he grabbed my neck, I was like, not today, sir. Not today, bro. You ain't getting your bronze statue in front of your house. Not on me, bro.
Dana was asked about a potential fight with you and Ilya again, and said it would probably be the BMF and the lightweight belt this time around. How much of a statement do you feel you made that you are the next guy in line at lightweight?
I've been telling you guys all week, man. This sport is about moments. This sport is about having moments. I'm glad I went here. I did this moment, and we'll see what happens. If it's Ilya, the ball is in UFC court. I'm down forever. If it's Ilya, it's Ilya. If it's the guy that he just beat, Oliveira, I have history with him. The whole top 10. There's a lot of fun fights for me here at lightweight, and I'm excited.
And just recap the point down moment this time around. Dustin was saying you were both looking up at the clock.
Yeah. When I saw Dustin looking at the clock, I heard my corner say 30 seconds. And I saw Dustin looking at the clock. I was like, this guy's going to try to point down before me. You know what I mean? So I'm glad he let me do the point down. We did it, and that was fun.
And he kind of admitted you got the better of it, and he was forced to clinch up with you. So
2-0,
3-0 on the point downs, I guess you are.
It is. Yeah, it is what it is.
How? It looked like it was a big part of the game plan, but how important were those body kicks for you tonight?
It was huge. I think so. The body kicks was the game changer, man. I think I landed some good ones, and he was saying too, oh, that was a good one in there. So at the end of the day, I think those body kicks help a lot.
Yeah. When we just saw you at this week, and you said about, this camp, you really didn't have to worry about going back down and all that sort of stuff, so you could put on more size. It did look like you were hitting harder than perhaps we've seen you hit before. Did you feel stronger in there?
Oh, for sure, bro, for sure. After I hit him in the first round, I was like, oh my gosh, we might be out of here early. And then And he remind me, you know what I mean? He remind me, you know, I'm the diamond. This is my retirement fight. I ain't going nowhere. So that guy is tough as nails, man.
Max over here. Congrats on the victory. Obviously, your coaches have played such a big part in your life, even though they're pretty low key. What's the biggest thing they've taught you outside of fighting?
Just be a good person. Be a good person, you know. And they're great guys. You know what I mean? They keep me in check. I mean, they're. I mean, I can't say enough nice things about them. You know, I love them. They look at me like I'm I'm their kid. You know, I met these guys. They're all 10 plus years older than me, and I met these guys when I was a young kid, when I was 19, 20, and look at me like I'm a child to them. So I got nothing but love for them, man. I owe them a lot.
Max, just one quick one. One thing that stood out about me after the fight was your son. He came into the cage. He went right up to Dustin, shook his hand, gave him a hug. Very respectful, man.
Oh, yeah.
How important is it for you to raise your son just like that, to be super respectful within the sport?
Awesome. I think my son's a better person than me, to be honest. You know, he got his mother that takes really good care of him, my wife, Alessa, and he's a great human being, you know. And finally, at least the last time we saw him, he was crying. So I guess he got to get one back, at least hugging Dustin, not crying.
I love that. And again, that was Max Holloway, and just a snippet of what he had to say following that victory on Saturday over Dustin Poirier. And yeah, you had Rush there, his son, that was very cordial, of course, like hugging Dustin in the octagon after the fight. And if you guys remember, when they fought the last time, that was a last-minute fight that Max moved up from featherweight to lightweight. And the power difference you could notice back then when they fought in that lightweight division for that interim title. But that was the first time Rush had seen Max lose. And we know Dustin also gave Max his first loss in the UFC, but at that time, you know, Rush, I believe, was probably just a baby. So this was kind of with that last fight where Rush was like crying. I think even Shaquille O'Neal was in the audience and kind of turned around and kind of tried to wipe a tear off of Rush's cheek at that time when he was just a little kid, as he was sitting next to Max's mom at that time. And this time around, like, he's grown. I can't believe how grown up now Rush Holloway is, and had the BMF belt, wearing it out, or I guess in backstage, but
What's
gave
BMF
all
stand for?
the congratulations. The just the what do you call that type of belts?
I don't know,
What is
championship
word
belt, the
for
one that
it?
we got behind you.
No, like where it's not. I don't, because it's not a fake belt. It's like
Replica.
Ceremonial belt, or
Sure,
like a,
yeah. Ceremonial belt feels
that
like
kind
it
of,
works.
yeah. That's the kind of the word I'm looking for. Where
it's not-
it does
like-
mean something,
Right, it's not like
the
necessary-
championship, but
yeah.
it still holds a lot of meaning to the actual BMF belt. So much so that Ilia Topuria wants to walk around with one that he just made for himself. Like, apparently, yeah, okay, you're the lightweight champ and whatnot, but you're walking around with this fake BMF belt that Max Holloway has that he defended
I saw
against
him.
Dustin
I
Poirier.
saw him post
so
that stuff on social. I got all mad. It makes no sense because you know me. I couldn't care less about all of this.
Yeah,
I am
yeah.
the least interested in combat sports. But I saw that little interaction on Twitter where Ilya is posting and he's like, "Ooh,
no,
bro." I the whole time I'm like, Max, put him in the dirt.
Yeah.
Put him in the dirt.
I don't know if he made it. I think he may have purchased it. I know you can buy it for under. You can buy
that's fair.
You can buy it for under $900. So if somebody wants to give us one as a gift, it's about like 800
Yeah.
something. So
Yeah.
We're the BMFs in this house. Like, there we go.
Well, not just this house.
The BMFs in sports media. Sports media.
Put
There
it
we
on
go.
there, cool. Put it on there.
Yeah. Put it on the list.
I mean, if they want to challenge us for that title, there's a 3-on-3 court.
I don't
Challenges.
think anybody.
no, I don't
has
think anybody
somebody-
wants to smoke.
No, I also don't think anybody has a combined younger crew than us. So I feel pretty good about our chances against all these old geezers in the sports media.
Exactly, and I'm not full Filipino, but I'm half Filipino, so I'm a bit younger than what my actual age is, just like we saw from Manny Pacquiao. So I'm a little closer to Michael's age in like the early 30s. So I can totally just.
I mean, I
do
do have
the
a
darn
combat
thing.
background. You guys know I am a martial artist, right? I've
Yeah.
shared that before. I'm ready to go. We have the sports media leagues, whether it's we're stepping in the ring or I like Koo's idea better, where we get in the pool and we play water polo.
No, but it is exciting to see what happens next for Max Holloway. If you look at the actual UFC rankings currently in the lightweight division, again, Max is officially moved up to the lightweight division. He has made it very clear, and he was on the featherweight rankings for a little while, and he was very vocal about wanting UFC to take him off because he's never going to fight at featherweight ever again, and he is off of the featherweight rankings, but currently Max Holloway is ranked 5th in the lightweight rankings, and the champ in that division, Ilia Topuria. So we'll see if we get another rematch with that. But for Max Holloway, fortunately, didn't go 0-6 into trilogies. As we know, he had never won against Alexander Volkanovski when that was going on, but fight number 2 was still debatable. And then obviously Dustin Poirier, who handed him his first UFC loss, and then that last minute move up for Max Holloway to lightweight, in which he lost the interim lightweight title at that time. But I do need to give a lot of credit and shout out to Dustin Poirier. He's just a class act. He's one of my favorite fighters, and I am kind of sad to see him retire, but just through and through, I posted this on social media that he has been someone that every fight that he was in, I was cheering for Dustin unless it was against Max Holloway. Like, he's just one of those fighters that I always liked. One, he's just an exciting fighter, period. But outside of fighting, he just is like an all-around good dude. And you can see how like Max and him interact when it's not actually in the octagon, that there's all this respect here, joking around even after they're like punching each other in the face for 5 rounds. It was all respect afterwards, and even leading up to it, it's just the sport in general has just had a lot of respect for each other, and Dustin Poirier is definitely going to be missed, but we're fortunate that, Max Holloway spoiled yet another retirement. And also shout out to Max Holloway because the winner always gets interviewed first after the post fight, and Max really didn't say much. He got the microphone and he was just like, this isn't my moment. This is Dustin's moment. Everyone cheer on Dustin. He said like, I don't know, maybe a few sentences and just gave it up. He's like, this isn't my moment. It's Dustin's moment. And it just shows the type of person that Max is as well. He won the fight, but he's like, this isn't my time. Like, this is not my day. This is Dustin's day. I did what I needed to do and I won the fight. But other than that, it was all about Dustin. And even when he felt like the crowd wasn't being loud enough for their home guy, he stepped in and was like, you guys aren't being loud enough. We need to hear more cheering for Dustin. And then, so credit to Max, credit to Dustin for just a phenomenal and fun fight for a lot of the MMA fans out there. So we'll see what's next. I would love to see him fight Charles Oliveira if I had to choose. Ilia Topuria, yeah, eventually, just because it is for an actual title. But I think in terms of a fun fight, Charles Oliveira, who is the 3rd ranked lightweight right now and had lost to Ilia, I think that would be kind of the fight to make. And Charles Oliveira is someone who has been in the fight game for a very, very long time. So we'll see what happens in the future. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back on the Hawai'i Sports Radio Network.
Back to more Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ulei Agbayani on the Hawai'i Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Welcome back to all of you, the beautifulest of all the beautiful people. It's Wake Up in the Den. I'm Ku'ulei Agbayani alongside Paul Brecht and Michael Liscaro on the Hawai'i Sports Radio Network and streaming live on our YouTube channel. So thank you guys for tuning in, and be sure you like and subscribe, or you guys can go back and watch it on demand, of course, or listen to the show on demand wherever you get most podcasts. Get in on the conversation at 808-888-KGU1. That's 808-888-5481. All right, I want to talk a little bit about the WNBA as All-Star Weekend happened, but no surprise, the storyline following this weekend is surrounded about the negotiations and talks for the new CBA and for the players to essentially get paid more. Now, they came out for their warm-ups kind of wearing this shirt that says, "Pay us what you owe us." All those WNBA players saying all of that, and then obviously that's what I'm on the side and Paul's on the side for sure. We're needing to pay these WNBA players what they are owed. And before we really get in on that conversation, I want to really explain, because it feels like a lot of people still don't understand exactly what they're asking for, because the narratives out there are just like, oh, they don't bring in any money, or they're expecting to get paid as much as the NBA. The NBA has been subsidizing them for this whole time. That is not what they are asking for. They're not delusional. They're not asking to get paid as much as their male counterparts in the NBA. I think it was Kelsey Plum that came out maybe like a few years ago on a podcast that was very clear. Like, they are not asking to get paid as much as them. They understand how economics works. They understand that the WNBA, especially at that time too, does not bring in as much money or close to as much money as the NBA does. They are simply asking for the bigger percentage, the bigger cut of the pie that at least comes close to the 50% that the NBA players get. So currently, WNBA players receive only 9.3% of the league's revenue, which includes the ticket sales, merchandise, and of course the TV deals. So that's what they're asking for. They're like, wait a minute, the NBA players get 50% of all of this, and we get less than 10% of this, when they are the show. They are the reason why the tickets get sold, why the TV deal is massive. And it's because of the TV deal, a big part of why they had opted out of their current CBA, because they're like, hey, we see the money that now the owners are going to get. They're going to get an automatic like net gain, I think I saw, of somewhere around like $115 million just based on the TV deal once that goes into effect of 2026. So the WNBA is now making a profit, and this is what they've been waiting for. They've been working hard here, and that is what they want. They want to at least get a bigger cut of the pie. Again, they're not asking to get paid close to what the NBA players are getting. They just want to at least get a bigger percentage that maybe gets closer to the 50%. I understand if maybe the first time around it's not going to be 50% right away. Maybe you start at 40% because, again, maybe some owners are trying to make back some of the money that they lost. But the point is the future is bright, and that's what they are negotiating for with this TV deal that is set to make these owners and the league a lot of money. So every time people are just talking about, they think they're as valuable as the NBA. I'm like, no, they're not. They're not trying to say any of that. The whole point is now we see how big the sport is getting. Now we see that if the owners don't want to invest in their teams or, invest in their players or be a part of this, we saw the valuation now of WNBA teams skyrocket to around the $400 million. So if the owners don't want to be a part of it, then sell the team and you can make back a ton of that money that you lost. So that's all of the stuff that they're planning for the future that the WNBA players are fighting for, so that they can get paid the percentage that they are owed now that they are finally, the league itself is finally starting to turn around a profit. With just the TV deal, it's already going to be turning around a profit. And then you add in the merchandise that we see. Then you add in, you have WNBA games that are viewership-wise on television are drawing more than some of the NBA games. Like, it's exploding as it should have been this entire time. But now they have arrived, and now it makes all the sense that, all right, they need a bigger percentage, because 9.3%, less than 10% of the revenue is just a joke. It's just laughable at this point, especially compared to their male counterparts.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I've been very open about where I stand on this. I think the WNBA players have been taken advantage of, might be very strong, but at the end of the day, they have been not compensated, and that's why I didn't have an issue with the shirts. Pay us what you owe us, and that is part of the revenue going up. That is part of the league continuing to grow year over year, and a big portion of this, them losing money, a big portion of them needing to be subsidized, all these things. It's a media deal that was signed so many years ago. Andrew Dukovic of he covers both the Timberwolves and the Lynx, put out a really good tweet about this yesterday, talking about all the numbers, right? You bring them up. 9.3% of the league revenue goes to the current NBA players. That is ticket sales, merch, TV deals, etc. 50% for the NBA players. That is an insane difference between the two leagues. It results in the salary cap being set at $1.507 million for this year, okay? That's half than Joe Ingles' salary for this upcoming year. For an entire roster, they are saying $1.5 million, okay? If, in theory, they received 40% of the league's revenue, so like you said, under 50%, because they're not trying to be unrealistic. They're not trying to get it all back in one. It is trying to be a transformative CBA in their negotiations. That's why it's been so public between these two entities at this point. But according to the math, and once again, shout out to Andrew Dukovic, in theory, if they received 40% of the league's revenue, salary cap would be at $6.481 million, okay? That is a massive jump. That is a four times the amount. Increase in roster expansion can occur then. Players can make 3 times more than what their current salary is, and owners would still be bringing in 60% of the revenue then. To put that in perspective, by the way, that means an entire WNBA roster would be paid less than Rob Dillingham, who was a rookie for the Minnesota Timberwolves last year, who didn't play all that much. Okay? $6.576 million he made to sit on the bench for the NBA last year, okay? Now, I totally understand it. I totally get it. Once again, it's a $45 million year deal for their media rights and so on and so forth. They just signed a more than $2 billion television deal or media rights deal that's going to kick in next year. Yeah, of course they're going to want to get more of the pie because, once again, jumping the numbers up even to just the current levels would be such a massive increase. And CBA would amount to current players going from $1.507 million in salary to just $4 million in salary. That's a substantial raise, but it would cost the league just $2.5 million out of the $115 million in TV deal profits going forward in just the next couple of years. Players get 40%. That's $17.2 million of a salary cap, 11 times what they get right now of a raise, and in still the grand scheme of things costs less than Jaden McDaniels, who plays for the Minnesota Timberwolves as well, who got paid $24.393 million. Now, once again, I'm not saying that these WNBA players deserve to be making $24 million.
Yeah, that's why I don't really like to compare the actual salary of WNBA to NBA and more so look at that percentage of the pie.
But that's why I do think it is important to bring up where total salaries for one person, entire teams are built by less than that. So when you're complaining, you, general public, are complaining about pay raises, it does drive me a little bit crazy. It's not them being asked to be dollar for dollar for the WNBA. It's for a fair share of what they've done to continue to grow this league year over year. And people, the detractors I continue to see talk about, oh, well, it's because of Caitlin Clark. Is Caitlin Clark not part of the WNBA?
Yeah.
Is she just her own entity?
She's just doing 3-point shot contests, like that's all she does, and by herself, and that's it. That's all she does, and brings in all the attention.
So she
kind of has to play alongside people and play against an opponent for her to go out and look as awesome as she does.
Yeah, it just drives me crazy. So it's like you have Caitlin Clark. Obviously, Paige Beckers has brought more eyes to the league this year. I know a ton of people love Asia Wilson. I know a ton of people love Nafisa Collier. Like, you go on through, there are a lot of players who have helped grow the game, helped grow the league continuously. They're not asking for unrealistic negotiation points. They are asking for a fair share, a fair cut, and for it to continue to grow as a league. You bring up the amount that the ownership has grown, right? Where we talk about the Golden State Valkyries evaluated or valued at almost $500 million in their first year of existence, by the way.
Yeah.
Now, to get a new expansion team, it's $250 million to even, like, get the team, get the bid. So I'm sitting here. The money is starting to pour in. It's only sensible that the people who we just did this for college sports where so many college athletic departments don't make money. They run in the red, and you know what they're going to do? Revenue share. We're going to pay the players more because they deserve it, because they are the reason that we have it in the first place. It's the whole business model. So it drives me nuts. I couldn't believe it was such a big conversation over the weekend because I am all for people getting paid what they're worth. I am all for people getting paid more. And also, at the end of the day, I'm still spending the money one way or another. I'm still going to the game. I'm buying the jersey. I want them to get my money.
Yeah.
I don't care about the owners getting my money. Sorry, I'm not going to lick their boot.
I just hope the WNBA package, like, for streaming still stays very, very affordable. It's probably going to go up a little bit because, $200 million annually in media rights from like $45 million is a significant jump. Of course, they deserve it, but I'm like, dang, paying like $30 for a season to stream it is like the best thing ever. Anyways, we're going to take a break. We'll be back to close out hour number 1 on the Hawai'i Sports Radio Network.
Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ulei Agbayani on the Hawai'i Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Welcome back to Wake Up in the Den. Ku'ulei Agbayani, Paul Brecht, and Michael Liscaro on the Hawai'i Sports Radio Network. All right, just got a few minutes left here in hour number 1 of our show, but we'll be back for hour number 2, fortunately. I did want to kind of talk a little bit about Las Vegas, or a little bit of pop culture, I guess you can say, because when I was in Vegas, I got to share this, especially with the YouTube viewers, because the pictures weren't doing justice. So I was able to go to Backstreet Boys in the Sphere, and it was insane, you guys. Like,
Oh, that's
this
actually
is
super
so
dope.
crazy, and I'm like, it was like a whole party. I encourage anyone to like go in the Sphere. It was wild for Backstreet Boys. It's just
Okay,
like
James Dolan, good job.
Yeah, an entirely different experience there. And it was like last minute game time decision to go. I was like stocking tickets for Friday night because we didn't have any plans, and it was awesome. But make sure you guys, if you go, I encourage you, and it's obviously it doesn't have to be Backstreet Boys, but if you guys ever go to the Sphere,
Yes, it does.
yeah, it does have to be Backstreet Boys. I would encourage you to sit at the 200 level. Center-ish is probably like the best viewing experience whenever you go to the Sphere. That is what I highly recommend, and it was awesome to be there for the Backstreet Boys. Backstreet back, all right. This is like my third time seeing Backstreet Boys, and it didn't. I'm still waiting for NSYNC to come back together. It's not gonna happen, but a girl can dream. I was actually an NSYNC girl growing up, so I saw funny memes about like when you go to a Backstreet Boys concert as like an NSYNC person, and you're like. And I didn't get the memo though that I guess you have to wear all white to the Backstreet Boys at the Sphere. Yeah. So my friend and I that went were wearing black, and we're just like, it's okay. It's because I'm in solidarity with NSYNC.
Well, okay. So as much as Backstreet Boys, I love Backstreet Boys more than like NSYNC. But you know what would have been better in the Sphere than Backstreet Boys?
What?
Coldplay.
Oh my gosh! I can't believe Michael decided to drop the Coldplay.
I mean, to be
thing.
fair, you said pop
Pop
culture.
culture.
I
Sure.
did say
Certainly
pop culture. Yeah,
Have you seen all the fans, all
I've
the
seen like
teams?
way too many.
I've seen so many teams do their Coldplay cams now, and
UH Mano, you better get on it.
right, it's like one of those free. Though, is the meme still going to be alive by the time we get to week 0 against Stanford? That's the question. Because if it's not, like it's to me, there are few things worse than doing a meme that is out of rotation, like just had left rotation. One where you're like, man,
No,
you
they
guys
can
couldn't do that.
I mean, here's the thing. Here's my thing is that sometimes the arena cams at some of these UH games, we know it's coming. You know, there's the Fantastic Sam's one. We know there's the Shotgun
They
cam.
should absolutely add new ones.
They gotta add new ones, but I do think it'll be kind of fun if they have to do it in good taste, right? Like
Yes, of course.
maybe you can get you can get like a Stanford fan holding like a Hawaii fan. That would be one. That would be one.
That would be
really
pretty
funny.
funny.
And then like they'll run away embarrassed and all that, or you can just get paid actors to do it. You know.
I mean, that's what they've been doing at the games. Like they've been having like the mascots and stuff, and just people you can tell are like part of the bit, but then also people that are playing along. So it is kind of Coldplay. I don't even know. You know what? I think Coldplay on the real might look pretty good in the Sphere considering some of the animation they've done. I heard U2 was pretty good. But
I'm
yeah,
a big
Backstreet Boys.
Coldplay guy.
No,
I actually really like Coldplay.
I thought of one that would crack me up if I saw it. If UH Mano did, they should have Craig Angeles and David Lassner recreate it.
Oh my
That
god!
would
Imagine
crack me up.
spicy.
I don't think they would give in to doing that, but Dare to Dream
No.
that would be
Dare to Dream
would
is
be
a good way to put
interesting.
it.
Maybe we can ask our friend Uncle Kevin if he can make that happen and then pull some strings, and
Good
we'll
luck.
see if that happens. Anyways, we do need to take a quick break. When we come back, we will talk some. Like I said, I had a chance to meet Patty Mills, the new general manager for the UH men's basketball team last night, and hear his vision. And they are already getting started with some of the interesting things, including risking their life yesterday. And Coach Ganat and I kind of joke like, man, your career probably at UH could have ended yesterday if anything crazy had happened. So what does that mean? I'll tell you guys about that when we come back on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network.
Dial back to more Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ule Agbayani on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Welcome back to Wake Up in the Den, hour number 2. I'm Ku'ule Agbayani alongside Paul Brecht and Michael Liscaro, and this is the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM, AM 760, hawaiisportsradio.com, and streaming live on our YouTube channel like we do this and every Monday. And you can listen every single weekday from 8 to 10, and we are rocking and rolling, getting ready for fall camp for UH football to start this week. Wednesday reporting is tomorrow for everybody, but then Wednesday we're going to squad up and be in attendance for the first official kickoff for UH football fall camp. So be sure you guys follow us on social media and keep up with us. Obviously, we'll be here with you guys, like we said, every single weekday from 8 to 10, bringing you your UH football content. And then in no time, it'll be August. We get into high school football and girls volleyball, and then we are officially rocking and rolling into the sports season, and we couldn't be more antsy, but at the same time, this is where the fun really begins and the odd hours for all of us here begins, but we wouldn't have it any other way because we love what we do. All right, I want to tell you guys a little bit about the new general manager there, Patty Mills, for the UH men's basketball team. I was fortunate enough to meet Patty yesterday and kind of hear what his vision is, and I never really expected, and I don't know what I expected Patty to do, but you guys, like, he has, just the vision and what he wants to do for this UH men's basketball program is next level. So he has a kind of a brand. It's called Roots and Reach, and it's exactly what it sounds like, kind of getting a lot of these players to get back to or learn about the roots here in Hawaii. As we mentioned before, and when his press conference was held, he is an Indigenous Australian, and he was telling us he grew up similar to how it is in the U.S. in a sense where you have like the quote-unquote mainland of Australia, and then you have like other islands around it, and he grew up in one of the islands, and so that's his tie-in and why he feels so strongly to Hawaii and the culture here in Hawaii. And he wants to help build that foundation for the players that come in. So he has started Roots and Reach. So it's kind of taking the players on just this journeys and excursions essentially to get familiar with the it's land, sea, shore, and sky is what they're doing for each day. And they started it yesterday. And this is where the joke was, like, where Coach Aron Ganat and I were joking that, man, your time at UH coaching could have very well ended because yesterday was the sea experience. And of all things, they went swimming with the sharks. And I mean, by swimming with the sharks...
Oh, they hung out with Jesse Nakanishi's HPU team.
Cageless. No cage. No
you
cage.
Mean real sharks. You mean real
so
sharks.
So here is a photo, and it's kind of funny because...
Well, I've got good news. They've got a big fish.
It was, yeah. So Big Fish, Isaac Johnson, had posted on his Instagram story that's a big fish, and I don't know if that is actually Isaac Johnson in the photo, or if I think he might have been Harry or something, but... It's a pretty darn big shark in the water. Again, not diving. And apparently, Patty was telling us that it is very rare because they don't chum the water like how they do in cage diving sometimes. So they are very much just free diving with the sharks. And apparently, it is actually very rare for them to see tiger sharks out there. So they'll see different sharks, but the tiger shark is very, very rare for them to see when they're out diving, and it's a very reputable local company that Patty has always worked with and has done it himself. And everybody did get in the water. I think from what Juan Munoz was telling me, that I think it was Isaac Johnson at first and AJ Economo were the two that were a little nervous to get into the water. Everybody else, they were in there.
That's so interesting.
I don't think
I would peg those two as the ones who would be like hesitant to get in there.
But they did. Yeah.
That's so fun. I love that so much.
Yeah. So they got in there, and they were diving with the sharks, but they saw, I guess there were two groups that went in the water, and the second group, which had Juan Munoz and, of all people, Ziza Ganat was in that group. There
Sean, she's
was
tougher than the guys.
a tiger shark that had swam next to them. And Patty was explaining that when the tiger shark comes around, all the other sharks and fish move out of the way. And it's just like
Say we're all good.
insane. So at the moment, you just have the basketball players. You have the daughter of the head basketball coach in the ocean with a tiger shark just moseying along. And sure enough, the tiger shark then swims away. And he said about 5 minutes later, all of the other life comes back. But like I said, apparently it is very, very rare for the encounter with the tiger shark. And it went well. Everybody was back on the boat. And everyone's in one piece.
We don't need to fill another scholarship spot.
The tiger shark literally sneaks up on them. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
no. Well, Tanner Cuff posted a little vlog on his Instagram within the past half hour.
Is everybody gonna vlog this
Well,
year
but
on this team?
it's approved by Hawai'i Basketball because Hawai'i Basketball was invited as a collaborator and it's on there. So,
So
but
clearly everything
It
was
is
fine.
approved.
But the photo I think Koo was showing on YouTube, there on his video, there's you can see the whole team there, and let me see if I can pause it. But yeah, there's the shark. Where is it?
He's trying to find the camera.
Yeah. There is the sharks there, and it's insane. So that's kind of what Patty has built there. Again, it's sea, land, shore, and sky. And no, the sky is not skydiving.
I would say no
that
to
was
that,
kind of
just
the
by the
joke
way.
where we're like, please don't say that the sky excursion is going to be skydiving, because as unpredictable as wildlife can be and sharks, skydiving to me is a whole other level of stuff. So it is not skydiving. It is actually going out to similar to the Hokulea. So they're going to go out and kind of learn about the sky and navigation and everything
that'll
like
be
that.
cool.
So that's the sky. I think today, let me look at the itinerary. Today they go. Today is when they go and do the sky and they learn about navigation, and then tomorrow they go work in the kalo farm and they're gonna plant kalo and everything like that. So that's kind of the land that this team can learn about. And then on Wednesday, the shore is gonna be, they're gonna do the training with the junior lifeguards, and apparently Patty says that that's what he does. When he comes back to Hawaii, he likes to go out there and work out with the junior lifeguards. So the entire basketball team is going to go train and learn a little bit about this with all of the junior lifeguards out there on the North Shore. So those are the different points that Patty Mills, and he puts together this entire itinerary. One of the other cool things they're going to do, I hope I can share this but it's going to look different when it's, they're going to try to stop at as many outdoor courts as they can and have, whether it be someone from the team or just anyone that might be at the basketball court, whether it's kids or auntie, uncle, they're going to try to go at as many outdoor courts in Hawaii as they can, also on other islands, and have them do a 3-point shot. And then they're going to edit it together. And then the final shot is going to be at the Stan Sheriff Center. And then it's going to lead into the men's basketball season. So
Big fan
Patty
of that.
Mills has an entire team he brought with him. So it's not it's Patty planning this. They're going to have it documented for the video, post on social media. So much of just building the brand of Hawaii basketball, because as we always talk about, when it comes to the financial stuff, the schools have a lot more advantages than Hawaii does. But kind of when we talk about baseball coach Rich Hill and how he, can rush 20-foot waves. Let me see another baseball coach in Division I baseball that can do that. Let me see another men's basketball team in this country that are swimming with sharks, and tiger sharks
Many
at that.
of them, if
so
any.
I think it's just it's overall a good thing for the culture and for all of these guys, especially a majority every single year. They don't necessarily have any tie to Hawaii before they come here, so they get to learn about this and feel and have more of a sense of understanding of playing with Hawaii across your chest, and have that tie-in to the land and feel all the mana and just have that instilled in them, where it's bigger than basketball, right? And then they can take all the things that they learn on these different excursions and go and share it whenever they move on in life. And I think that's huge because, again, Hawaii is special. The culture here is special. And if we can't necessarily compete at certain monetary levels, hey, we have all this other stuff that Patty is building here at UH, where you get all of these experiences and on top of basketball and Patty Mills playing here, and I think he's like, well, it's kind of interesting because of the rules. So before Patty would when he wasn't the general manager, he would just naturally work out with the guys and play. But I think now they have to look at the rules because he is the GM and see when he's allowed to actually play basketball in the practices. It's so crazy, but it's really phenomenal what Patty is doing. And again, maybe with the exception of Adrian Wojnarowski, I think we can compete up there with Woj on the best GM in college basketball right now.
I think they're doing it in very different ways. I think Woj's GMing is not quite that, but it is a really cool thought to have these guys go through. I thought you hit the nail on the head with giving them an opportunity to connect with the land, connect with the Aina, connect with, the people here in a lot of ways, where you have a lot of the people who love the nature out here, who love the beach, who love the water, who love the sky, and why not go learn from them? Why not have that connection? We've seen, and I know I jokingly brought up HPU and Jesse Nakanishi before, but we've seen with their program what it is for and how special it's been for them when they go out and they'll do, whether it's community service or just things together out in nature, how much it helps bring them together. And with so many new faces on this year's team, what more could you want than them spending quality time together, endearing themselves to the people of the islands, and showing them just a little bit more of what they signed up for so that they're even more comfortable and it feels even more or even bigger for them going forward. And like you said, this is not like a PR stunt, Patty Mills being the GM. This is, or it wasn't, I guess, a PR stunt, Patty Mills being the GM, because you look at it, he puts in actual time, actual effort, and a full itinerary for these young men to continue growing, not just as basketball players, obviously, and growing their connections, but also growing as people, growing their understanding of what they need to know and what they should know after spending time with the University of Hawaii and just in the islands in general. It's really cool to see. I'm excited to see it continue on, and I'm excited to see what else he's got in store.
Yeah, and like Paul said, right, this is not a PR thing, right? Most of the connections that Patty Mills has already been doing this. That's how he's got the connections to able to get these going for a larger group in the basketball team. But the Patty Mills gets it. He's an islander, right? You know, not an islander in the villa, but he's an islander, So, and I think that's the thing that kind of lacked with last year's team was kind of a tie to, to Hawaii, right? There's a lot of new players that came in last year, and we really didn't get to know them, right? I mean, Tanner Christensen was just for a bit. Marcus Green was here for a bit. Come and left. Jerome Palms potentially left and gonna go to Memphis. But then getting these players. And I will say, even though it's not a PR thing, it is also a recruiting thing because we're like, hey, this is what the Hawaii, because you see official visits, right? Like, oh yeah, we're gonna show them Waikiki, we're gonna show them the glitz and the glam, but there's more to Hawaii than that, right?
So much more.
I love this for the program. I mean, the Sharks thing, that's one of those things where it's kind of like this wasn't planned, but we got out of it, and that's one of those things that bonds a team much closer. Last year, I really don't know when this team kind of came together, right?
I think you can make the case.
Maybe Diamond, really. Yeah, it didn't really come. But so this one, everyone's gonna remember that shark. That's something they're gonna be telling to the grandkids. That's something they'll be telling maybe if they're in each other's weddings. That's something that's gonna last.
Half the team's married already, but sorry.
But I know we got to go to break soon, so I guess I'll kind of pick up on Paul's little HPU stuff because they are out in the community, right? Today, Paul? Today's the day one of their camp?
What's today? The 21st? It is. Yeah, good. Look at you. Shout out you. Shout out all those keiki who are making their way out as well and enjoying that.
Yeah. So, yeah. But, yeah, great for, maybe we can get some of those things, too. You can ask your contacts so that maybe we can post that on our social media,
Oh, so. I'm actually planning. Hopefully, I can make it out there in time tomorrow to kind of see and maybe get some content out there.
On the boat?
Not on the boat. In the Kalo farm.
Oh no! Oh, today is on the boat.
No,
today's the sky. I thought.
Yeah, today's the sky, but they're not going out because I guess Patty was saying something like
too much water.
No. The normal captains that do the whole thing, they're not here. so they can't actually take him
But
out.
that's the best time to
So,
learn how
yeah.
to navigate.
But they're not here. You kind of need a captain to, man the boat.
Captain Patty.
This is where we see who's stepping up and is going to be the captain this year.
I am the
you know?
captain
I
now.
know, look at me.
I
I
am
am
the captain now.
But if there's the captain, I'm watching that Dre vlog right as soon as it posts.
Oh, he had it. He obviously he didn't take it in the water. But I asked Juan yesterday. I was like, Dre was filming, right? He's like, oh yeah, Dre was filming this whole thing. So I'm like, you guys,
We will be tuned in.
Dre from NC is his YouTube, so he has the vlogs on there if you guys want to check it out. And I did get official confirmation that Dre, because people were concerned, like, oh, I don't think Iran is going to appreciate the vlog. So
I would
Iran
imagine
very
EG
much
is
knows that it's fine.
say, pretty aware.
The only rule about the vlogs is that he is not allowed to have EG in there. That's the only rule.
Boo,
So.
boo, boo, EG, boo, boo.
That's
the only
a
rule.
pretty fair
It's
rule.
a
I mean,
fair
that's
rule.
It's actually
that's
a very
good
smart
trade-off.
rule.
So
Apparently, I'm in there twice. That's what our Chaz on Thai next door told me.
believe it.
I was in one. I think one
Well,
of you guys sent me the screenshot
no
that I was in
wonder
there.
why
one.
you got 5,000 views on that podcast.
But our Chaz on Thai messaged me that, oh, you made a second
You're
appearance
probably
in the vlog. I guess I need to start charging people. I need to start charging for my NIL because what's going on?
Clearly. I'm sure you're in the because I actually saw him filming a little piece for it during the impromptu alumni game there.
Okay, I think that's the one that
So
I'm in. Yeah.
I have not watched that video yet. Sorry, Dre, I'm a little behind. But I would imagine it's probably that one because you were walking around in plenty of different places that day.
Oh my gosh.
And in case you didn't see it, you can go to our YouTube channel and you can check out the game.
Oh man. Anyways, we do need to take a break. Hopefully we can kind of hear from Patty and get some of that content up on our social media within the next couple of days, because he does have to get out of here on Wednesday. So yeah, we'll see keeping up with all the cool things that are coming forward with the UH men's basketball program for sure. But we'll be right back on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network.
Fun Factory can't make
Wake up in the den with Ku'ulei Agbayani on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Welcome back, everybody. Kule Agbayani, Paul Brecht, and Michael Liscaro on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, and the streaming live on our YouTube channel. So be sure you guys like and subscribe, and check out some of the other stuff that we have going on there. We got the Q&As with Jemai Otis and Pofele Ashlock, most recently posted on our YouTube channel. So Make sure you guys check that out and just get their thoughts on the upcoming season and fall camp starting on Wednesday. And on our website as well, we do have a designated page at hawaiisportsradio.com /Hawaii football, or there's kind of like a little button there on our homepage that you guys can check out and make sure you bookmark, because that will be the page that especially for Paul and Michael will be populating there as we are starting up with our UH football content. So if you guys want to keep up with what's going on during fall camp and, of course, everything happening during the season, make sure you bookmark that, along with, I know another popular page that we have is Paul's UH men's basketball recruiting tracker that you can also make sure you bookmark and regularly visit for updates. But keeping and going back to our football conversation, as fall camp starts on Wednesday, we mentioned practices, at least to start off with before school starts and it needs to move to the morning, that practices will be at 11 o'clock to kind of get the team acclimated to the heat that they will face in the first game against Stanford, and then, of course, going on the road to play Arizona. And the high expectations are there for this UH football team. Hawaii is the 1-point underdog in that opening game against Stanford. I did, yes, put a little sprinkle on the plus money for Hawaii to win straight up, because why not? Duh. And I did do what I said I was going to do, and Hawaii at Circa Sports, their win total was set at 6. So naturally, I did that as well and hit Hawaii with the plus money to go over the win total of 6. And you know what that means either way. And we were going to go to a bowl game. And I think it was actually Juan Munoz that was asking me yesterday about, what's the feeling around the football team this year? And I'm like, it's very positive. The vibes are high. A lot of people are collectively saying that this is the best team so far under head coach Timmy Chang. So we're feeling good heading into that opening game against Stanford. Now, just like Coach Reinbold said, now they need to actually go out there and perform, and they need to do what we expect them to do. But this is definitely the most positive that I've collectively felt around just, talking to other media members and the team, that a lot of people are looking forward to this season and what it will hold. But I want to ask you guys, with fall camp starting this week, what are kind of some of the things that you are looking forward to seeing, and maybe some of the things that you're really going to hone in on, at least through the first week? Like, when we go to fall camp this week, what is something that you are looking forward to and wanting to see for this team? Like maybe the biggest question mark, I guess you can say, heading into this season, and what you will pay attention to come this week, Wednesday, and through the rest of the week. Like our interest will start to change as we get closer to the actual season starting, as practices change. But what is like some of the things that you want to pay attention to early on in fall camp, Michael?
Yeah, well, early on, it's going to be the offensive line, right? That's, we're going to see that unit. It's going to be our first chance to see Dean Brisky get the start at left tackle. We'll see how he looks, how he's progressing his development. We're going to see how, if our two guards, Kuape Hopa and Denzel Tello, if they're fresh from their injuries. We're going to see how, because if they're not looking fresh, if they're not looking good, then it's going to be a long season up front, and that's where it kind of starts. So that's where my number one focus is at the start of the season. Also curious to see how well the connection is between Alejandro and the receivers. It's one thing for receivers to catch the ball, but it's another thing for the quarterback to put the ball in the receiver's hands where they can catch it and run. I think that was a big thing last year, where Braden Shaker's passes were a bit too spicy for some players. They had to really focus off their energy and put it all in receiving that pass. But honestly, for me, who's probably going to be at more of the fall camps, first day, first week, I'm not really looking for much. I'm curious to see how the team is in the coming weeks, because there was again, for opening day of fall camp, everybody's going to look good. Everybody's going to have the energy. Everybody's going to have that swag. But when you get into the meat of your camp schedule, how does this team perform? And one thing that kind of got to me was, last Friday when our Thursday, but we played on Friday's show, that where Coach Timmy Chang said was that we finally have a player-led team, which kind of surprising, because that means that the previous years it wasn't really player-led as much, or at least not to the level that the coaching staff wanted. I mean, you look at last year, right? I think we had one captain got removed from being a captain, and you have one captain, also hit the transfer portal afterwards. And I guess even Braden Shager wasn't a captain at the start of the season, so it was, and then it was very kind of shaky there. And there was some moments last year in training camp where they like Coach Timmy was like laying it all on the players, right? And it's because a lot of, I mean, like who said, sometimes it's the defense that are always winning these battles, but there were some hard hits that some of the players were either giving or receiving, and that's just a mental thing, right? Where Coach Timmy's treating that like you don't want to be teeing off against our players. Yeah, when we get to the Mountain West schedule, that's when we go. But then we want to get to the Mountain West schedule healthy, right? And if we're teeing off of players, then that's not during our own players during training camp. Then that's not a good thing. And definitely we saw some of those mental issues come in during the start of the season when we just had a boatload of penalties, and that's something that the coaches can't fix all of those penalties, right? There's only so much you can do, but it's the 11 on the field that commits these penalties. So this first week, it's all going to be hunky-dory. We're all going to be happy. They're going to see superstar Koo. We're going to see rockstar Paul. Everyone's going to be happy. We're all going to be burning in the sun. But these days in the sun, it's going to stack up. And that's what I'm looking forward to. That's what I'm going to be watching for next season. If they can keep that same mental energy. Because, I mean, last year, too, I feel like we had the same vibe. We're like, oh, yeah, this is a great year to cover, to get into covering football, right? I mean, we did the tour with the coaching staff, and that's the vibe that, this is a great first year for Michael Tino, to get if you're going to get started covering football, this is the year. And it didn't turn out that way. So as much as there's optimism, they still got to go out and prove it. So this first weeks, I mean, it's everyone's going to look good. It's just as we stack on, can they maintain that level of focus, the detail, and energy?
Yeah, you bring up a lot of really good points there, or a lot of really good things to watch for, a lot of things that I'll similarly be looking at. Obviously, the offensive line will always be of note, of question, especially when your quarterback is assuming Micah Alihado will continue to be QB1. Is not exactly the biggest player. I mean, we saw Braden Shager get absolutely demolished behind the line last year. Now, part of that because of Braden Shager's inability to get rid of the ball quickly, and part of that because the offensive line just frankly wasn't all that good last year. That being said, do these faces, some new faces, help you out? Do faces that return from last year got an opportunity at some points last year? Are they able to take a step forward? I'm really more curious about the backup quarterbacks because, Michael, you've kind of talked about this on the show before where last year, and obviously we knew Micah Alihado was a very good prospect, but it seemed that the program wanted to save his red shirt. This year it seems that they have multiple backup quarterback options. I'm curious who kind of goes above the other. Does Luke Weaver have a great camp? Does he cement himself as QB2, somebody who, if Micah does need to take a series off, or Micah, heaven forbid, Micah does get hurt for a game or something along those lines, is he the one who steps in? They got a transfer from UCLA. I think it's, DeMarcus Davis?
DeMarcus.
I was going to say.
Or Marmar, I believe he goes by.
What is it?
Marmar.
Love that. It might be QB2 because of that. Sorry to my in-law. No, but I'm going to be curious watching between that. Michael brings up the offensive line. We had Jeff Reinbold in here. He talked a bit about his defensive line, how excited he is about the amount of bodies that they brought in, the amount of talent in there. Just to build off of that, the entire defensive line, not just the interior, but also the guys that Coach Pu'u Robinson works with on the outside. I'm excited to see, are they able to produce? My big question, I think, probably is going to be the defensive backfield. I'm really curious what they end up doing, who cements themselves on the other side of Verdell Edwards. Does Verdell Edwards come back completely healthy this year? That's something that, oh my goodness, it would be real nice to see. But, assuming that he's starting on one side, who kind of takes the other? Because last year you had a really strong duo in Cam Stone and Sibo Brown. Both of them are no longer on the team, one playing professionally, one playing now in the ACC. So clearly other people thought that they were pretty good as well. So who takes that next step? Can Elijah Palmer continue to grow? He was an honorable mention in Mountain West last year. Is he somebody who takes another step forward in the nickel for you? Michael, I think, brought up, do you maybe see him take some snaps at safety this year if people don't still trust Kilanahe Mendiola Jensen there next to Peter Manuma. The defensive backfield is one that I will really have my eyes on because I think there's a lot of talent in the wide receiver room, which means somebody's got to try and stop them, which means we're going to get a lot of guys getting opportunities to get better in practice for the Bows. Who is it that takes the opportunity in front of them and steps up? That'll be what I'm looking for.
I love it. I think maybe earlier on what I'm looking forward to are the defensive line, because we talked about that with Jeff Reinbold, and Michael pointed that out in our conversation with him, is that he lost a lot of guys, right? And yes, they did bring in some more, so I am curious to see how and what they can put onto the football field. And fortunately, we trust and believe in a lot of these coaches to make that happen, but definitely the defensive line. And then when we get into the actual game of things and how Hawaii is able to stop the run, because I do think the secondary is going to be solid. Whoever ends up there, I can trust, but we'll see how the defensive line does. And then the wide receiving core, in the sense that, I mean, we saw in Pafele Ashlock and Nick Senecal get those preseason honors, and will that translate now onto the football field, especially for Pafele, where teams they hone in on him now, right? Like, and will it be different now with Micah Alihado? So I am curious, and I know Michael had said that too, and I want to piggyback on that point where I'm excited to see how that connection is between Micah Alihado and the receivers during fall camp, because if they're firing on all cylinders, then I think fans and what we can expect from what we saw in that New Mexico game going into this season and it translating hopefully into this season, that fans are going to be really excited to see what the product is on the football field this upcoming season. All right, before we go to break, want to make sure we remind you guys about the new Double Down Deals Hawaii.com, where you don't need luck to save. So on sale right now, half price ultra slim red light therapy packages from Ageless Sculpting and Wellness. So don't let chronic pain and inflammation from old sports injuries, or, just getting a little bit older in age, control your life. Ultra slim red light therapy targets pain at its source, providing fast, non-invasive relief. So visit DoubleDownDealsHawaii.com right now to learn more, where you can also score and save with Fun Factory game tokens cards as well. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network.
Back to more Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ulei Agbayani on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Welcome back to all of you, the beautifulest of all the beautiful people. It's Wake Up in the Den. Kule Agbayani, Paul Brecht, and Michael Liscaro on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM, AM 760, hawaiisportsradio.com, and streaming live on our YouTube channel as we do this and every single Monday. So we appreciate you guys for tuning in, and be sure you guys like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll have a lot more content coming out for you guys this week, including my chat with new UH Athletics Director Matt Elliott. Got a chance to sit down with him at Mountain West Media Days, and you guys heard the interview on Friday, but we'll post it up on our YouTube channel as well to get a little bit more of his take, and that you guys can watch in case you missed it and didn't listen to it yet, or if you just want to get the video version, whatever. Like, we appreciate you guys, that everyone that tunes in, and we'll have a lot more content this week as we will be out at fall camp and start getting you a lot of that football stuff going out there. But going back to Mountain West Media Days a little bit, we touched on this on Friday, Paul, and I'm not sure how much you and Michael had a chance to talk about the whole situation going on with the Mountain West and the Pac-12 about that announcement that they did not reach an agreement in mediation. So we are going to the mattresses between the two conferences. But I must say that Gloria, she's an animal, man. Like, she's always looking out for the conferences. But I thought, or the conference in the Mountain West, I thought this was a really good read by Chris Vanini of The Athletic that came out, because in the article, he had brought up the fact that what I brought up on Friday, where it seemed to be really cordial amongst the athletics directors and the coaches. Obviously, the coaches don't really have a say in any of this realignment stuff, but there were athletic directors that were there from departing schools. So in the article, Chris Vanini said that in the Legacy Club, where the coaches, ADs, and officials conversed about media days in the history, it seems like everything, was fine and very much cordial. I mean, it's not like they're going to start like throwing punches and like arguing in front of everybody. Everyone's going to keep it professional. But I just thought that was interesting how it's made its way in here, because I had brought it up on Friday's show. Like, I never really sensed any tension, but at the same time, because Hawaii is not one of the ones that are leaving the Mountain West, clearly the tension is not there for us, and we're very much looking forward to the future and majority of the rest of the sports joining the Mountain West in the 2026 season. I do want to, there was this part in the article by Chris Vanini in which he had gotten a quote from Eric Harper, who is the AD at UNLV, who I got a chance to chat with as well. But he said, quote, "At the end of the day, you're having a conversation and you feel you can trust that person and what they believe in." This is in reference to Mountain West Commissioner Gloria Nevarez, continuing the quote saying, "Then you have some people that are shady. You have your communications, you move forward and go from there." That was a very odd moment in the Mountain West, but we're here and everybody's excited about the fall. So the athletics director is feeling like they can very much trust Gloria Nevarez and her vision in moving this conference forward and being one to truly compete with the new look Pac-12 that essentially looks like another version of the Mountain West, to remind everybody. So when it comes to football anyways, in 2026, obviously you have Hawaii along with Air Force, Nevada, New Mexico, Northern Illinois, San Jose State, UNLV, UTEP, and Wyoming. Again, for FBS football in the 2026 season. Where on the flip side, on the Pac-12 side, you have Boise State, Colorado State, Fresno State, Oregon State, San Diego State, Texas State now, which was the recent announcement last week, Utah State, and Washington State. And I want to get kind of your guys' take on this, because I was having a very interesting conversation with our friend Casey at Mountain West Media Days, because the Pac-12, right, are trying to build themselves up like they are this incredible conference, rebuilt, like taking all these teams from the Mountain West, but someone's going to have to be junk. Like, it's not like every single team in the new look Pac-12 are all of a sudden they're all going to be good and everyone's going to only lose a couple of times to each conference opponent. Like, someone is going to have to be the bottom of the barrel in the Pac-12, despite what they think that they collectively, every team from top to bottom is going to be way better than every other team in the Mountain West when it comes to FBS football. And it's kind of a fun brainstorming moment. And as unfortunate it feels to say this, I'm like, yeah. And could that team be someone like Colorado State or Fresno State, right? Like Fresno State, they're not exactly looking like a scary opponent even in this final season in 2025 when they are here. So when you just look at the comparison of these two conferences when we're just talking football, I think the future and whatever the Pac-12 is trying to do to kind of decrease the value or try to make this perception like the Mountain West is less than without some of these members is like, hold on, wait a minute. And that's what I appreciate with Gloria Nevarez is that you can tell and I got a chance to like actually introduce myself to her and talk to her in a non-official capacity. And the confidence she has is there in her conference. And I think that's why she is such a bulldog, because she's like, no, you guys can leave. You can go to the Pac-12. I'm looking out for this because our conference is going to be better than you, because this isn't even to take into account of the whole Grand Canyon thing, which I know Paul and I talked about last week when it comes to on the basketball level and other sports and how much the Mountain West is just going to be better than the Pac-12. Like, yeah, they can have Boise State, whatever. I'm like, Washington State, we almost beat them. We could have beat, right? Like, Oregon State is not, we talked about this too. Oregon State and Washington State are not UW and Oregon. Like, it's just not, they're never going to be.
They're the ugly stepchild. They always have been. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. But I think the future is bright for this program. And it is, like I said, going back to reading Chris Vanini's article, I think they're always going to have that awkward feeling when those Mountain West defectors were there last week, because I think they're concerned about their future at this point, and they're looking around like maybe we made the wrong decision. I mean, it was there potentially for both conferences to combine, but the Pac-12 just wanted to do Pac-12 things and didn't want to budge. So, bye.
I still don't understand the whole not combining.
It would have costed like nothing. It would have only costed changing the name. Like the Mountain West would have to be the Pac-12 in a sense, because then you would lose or forego a lot of that substantial money, especially that San Diego State unit where they made it to the Final Four, like, or actually the national championship. So if the conference name changed, then they would forego a lot of that money that goes to the conferences. So I think that could, I'm just speculating at this point, but it is kind of interesting why it's never happened, but here we are.
My thing is that, with Oregon State, Washington State, and the Pac-12, like, come on, guys, this is the pot calling the kettle black, because, like, when your teams left you guys, because I guess they don't want to leave you guys had this war chest of assortment of funds that went through some court, some mediation, whatever it may be, and it's the same thing on. Like, you got this benefit from this because your teams got stolen from you, but now you gotta, it comes around, right? Kum made a good point about the defectors, right? They're kind of confused, maybe the grass ain't greener on the other side, It almost kind of feels like Damian Lillard a little bit, where he left Portland, where he was
all-time
like king
fleece,
there.
by the way, by Portland.
And like he went to Milwaukee, and it just didn't pan out there. I mean, you got an in-season title, but other than that, it didn't pan out. Never.
That's what he signed up for, right? That's what he wanted.
But now he's back
title.
at Portland. So I mean, I know Boise's AD is trying to make it like, oh yeah, we want the Pac to be like a power conference. Like, Boise,
I bet they do.
I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. It's not. I mean, the only way, even then, the SEC and the Big Ten might just merge, or the Big 12 might just merge with the SEC. It's not going to happen. Like, so, yeah, I mean, maybe they can merge, but then again, people want to keep their names, right? It's something. I mean, we have hyphenated names in sports. It happens, right? People want to keep their names. So, I mean, of course, they can't. Oh, okay, I'm gonna not be serious for a moment, but maybe they can't merge because the Pac West is already taken. Sorry.
I mean, unironically, that was everybody's suggestion when like the whole thing came down. It was like, oh, just be the Pac West, and then I'm sitting here, I'm like, hey, respect my D2,
wait.
respect my D2 conference, all right. No, I don't know. The whole thing confuses me. The Pac-12 loves to play the we were vulnerable card, and that's why it's unlawful what the Mountain West was doing, and they tried to negotiate from a position of strength and whatever, and it's like, well, yeah, you're trying to destroy their conference. You stole their teams, and by your own admission, you're stealing their best teams.
Yeah.
So what do you mean you don't think that there should be any consequence, monetary, like? This is something we talk about with players now, in the point where, like, when tampering happens, should there be a monetary fee or fine paid to other programs when you are tampering and poaching and stealing their players, why would that not be the same case with the programs?
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense to me. I think it's a stupid lawsuit by the Pac-12. Maybe I'm just too in the weeds and too biased towards the Mountain West. And listen, do I think it's a cut and dry Mountain West is going to smoke them in court? No. But I think there's plenty there for the Mountain West to feel good about, for Gloria Navarez, whether it's on or off the record, to be like, yeah, we're in a decent spot because we placed ourselves in a decent spot. We put safeguards up in case something like this was going to happen, and we did offer a olive branch to get out of jail free. Why don't we just all combine together? And nothing came of it. So at the end of the day, I don't know. It seems like an issue that was created by both sides, I guess, in the very, very stretched way. But, like, realistically, the Pac-12 did this to themselves because they looked at the Mountain West and saw that as the easiest way to rebuild the conference in the way that they wanted to. That means you have to pay the consequence. It's just the way that I feel. Sorry.
And shout out to former Mountain West Commissioner Craig Thompson, because to remind everybody, the Mountain West actually didn't have exit fees for a while. And Craig Thompson, seeing what the future held in college sports and realignment and everything, he did it. He instilled these exit fees that schools would have to pay should they want to depart the conference. All of the schools were on board for that because at the time they wanted to stay together. And again, ironically or unironically, is that the Mountain West was formed from the WAC going way back when, and Hawaii actually got left out back then the first time around. So it is kind of crazy to see where we are here with the exit fees. Again, the Pac-12 and the Mountain West did not come up with a resolution earlier in this month, so they will go to court in early September to try to resolve the $150 million in poaching and exit fees. Now it's about $55 million for just the poaching fees. Again, something that Washington State and Oregon State signed up for when they did the scheduling thing a couple seasons ago. They were just like, all right, make sure you don't try to steal any of our teams. So we're going to put this on here. If you want us to play you guys and have you part of our schedule so that you have actual teams to play, we want you to sign this piece of paper that says you will not poach our teams. Pac-12 did it. Okay, sure. And sure enough, they poach the teams. So that's why I'm like, this doesn't make sense to me. And like you said, Paul, like, I don't think that the Mountain West will come out 100% victorious. But when it comes to the law and like signing on the dotted line, yeah, okay, taking advantage when they were weakest. But at the same time, like you said, it's like we gave you an olive branch. Like you would have had no significant teams to play. We would have been just fine doing what we do, but we added you guys on our schedules, and this is what the return was. So we'll see what happens and the other schools that left. And we know UNLV and Air Force gets the bigger piece of the pie once that money comes to the Mountain West and everyone's signed on that they would stay and get that percentage of the money, which will definitely help Hawaii. So hopefully this gets figured out sooner than later so that Hawaii will get its chunk of that $150 million. Of course, it'll be a little bit less by the time courts and stuff are done, but any little bit helps in this day and age. So the sooner the better, which everything goes and gets over with. But we'll see what happens in September. All right, going to take our final break of this Aloha Monday, and we'll be back to close things out on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network.
Dialing
Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ulei Agbayani on the Hawai'i Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Welcome back to Wake Up in the Den. Ku'ulei Agbayani, Paul Brecht, and Michael Liscaro on the Hawai'i Sports Radio Network and streaming live on our YouTube channel. So thank you guys for tuning in or listening either on regular radio, online, or on demand. We appreciate you guys and your support, and we are getting geared up for the sports season. But to close out the show today, I got to get into more of some pop culture talk, you guys, because I am obsessed. And this is, where I get to be a little girly every once in a while on this show because I am a girl. So
this is true.
I get a little girly when it comes to just keeping up with some of the, again, pop culture couples. And obviously, we know a couple of years ago, the whole talk of the town was Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. Now, you guys, I am obsessed with the coupling of Klay Thompson and Megan Thee Stallion.
Coupling.
Yeah, exactly.
She was on Love Island. She was on Love Island.
This is true.
I am so obsessed. I love Megan Thee Stallion and Klay Thompson, obviously part of that dynasty for Golden State. And they are so opposite in a sense. Megan is clearly she's more of that extrovert and very boisterous and amazing at what she does with her rap career. And then Klay Thompson has kind of been more of the quiet, low-key one. And I am just obsessed in every point. And they posted workout videos the other day on their social media, and I was in love with it some more. So this is kind of the new it couple for me when it comes to music meeting sports. And Megan is probably one of my favorite female rappers in this time. And I think she's just she just feels like an overall genuine person compared to some of her other people in the industry. And I love it. She gets the good guy, and I love this for her. Considering, she was shot before, everything. And if you guys don't listen to her music, I think I really appreciate her as a person, because there's this one, I think it's called Cobra, where she really opened up about her past and everything. And I just felt a different way about Megan Thee Stallion and how genuine she is. And you guys, I'm obsessed. I'm sorry to get a little girly for you guys that maybe aren't into the pop culture thing that are tuning in on this show. But I just have to talk about it because I just need to talk about it.
It makes me feel better because I do have a TikTok to show you of them. You've probably seen it at this point because the amount of videos that have been circulating. No, I've loved it too. Klay seems very obsessed with her and her vice versa with him. Klay Thompson continues to just absolutely torch Houston, whether it's on the court, off the court. One of the best ever at banging threes, and then he just got the gal with Megan knees. What more could you possibly want? It is a great life for Mr. What is it? 4-time champion, 4, right? That's what he always does. The 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. They had that cute little workout video the other day.
I love the workout video.
No, it's a lot of fun. Like you said, it continues the musical crossover with sports that we so love. It allows us to do this. And it's just, I don't know, it's fun in general. I like when people are happy. Call me crazy for that. I know that's taboo nowadays.
Definitely my favorite Love Island couple, for sure.
The best Love Island. Yeah, that was a good call out by Michael there.
Even though, she was on Love Island, not him, but
And that's probably the way he'd prefer it.
Not anywhere else.
I think they just balance each other out, right? Klay, he just kind of to himself. He chose his dog over a girl. I think that was one of the things. So
King.
It's a really good balance, and hopefully, it lasts because, you love to see these superstar power couples make it through and not flame out,
Yeah, but like I said, this is my new power couple, celebrity couple obsession. All right, Taylor and Travis were 2 years ago, and now this is
who's not a couple, though? OG Anunoby and Sunny.
Oh, dude, I know.
Oh, no, he didn't even give her a shout out. What was up with that? He shouted out Anne Hathaway.
Well, she friend zoned him. So, you know what? Good. Anne Hathaway, better. Anne Hathaway is prime LeBron. Anne Hathaway is actually like LeBron.
Oh, yeah.
She's still in her prime.
She's still,
even though her prime was, it started years ago. So, yeah, no, My boy knows what he's doing. Suni said there's nothing there.
Suni.
We're just friends. So he said, yeah, that's cool. We're just friends. I love when Anne Hathaway pulls up. My man knows.
Hey, it's okay. They're still young. Anything can happen. All right. But for now, we got to go. For Paul Brecht, Michael Iscaro, I'm Kule Agbayani. Mahalo for listening and watching. It's been Wake Up in the Den. Bye.
Home of